Werewolves, werewolves, werewolves! Everywhere wolves, it seems. That's because the new movie The Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro, opens in February. So, in order to get ready for the Del Toro terror tale, I, Ghoulie Herb, will be suggesting some werewolf wonders that are very, very good. Oliver Reed was a mere tyke of 24 years old when he was lucky enough to catch Curse of the Werewolf. This 1961 Hammer Films production remains one of the most overlooked werewolf movies of all time, perhaps because it takes its time setting up a fascinating backstory and keeps us in suspense for quite a while before the actual werewolf appears. But when it does in the guise of British actor Reed, he is indeed a scary figure. Religious themes, sexual imagery, gorgeous production design, and the strapping Reed make this one a haunting howl. Paul Naschy, the Spanish actor, writer, director, who recently left this earth, appeared as Count Dracula, a mummy, and other creatures of the night in many movies. But his most famous role was that of werewolf Waldemar Daninsky, in a central character in 12 Naschy films. According to the El Hombre Lobo films, Daninsky was bitten by a yeti, which quickly turned him into a fang-gnashing creature. I recommend the first film in the series, 1968's Frankenstein's Bloody Terror, which explains that Daninsky was also a descendant of the infamous Frankenstein family. Talk about bad blood. Lycanthropy, the subject of urban gentrification, make for an odd but creepy mix in the 1981 Wolfen, based on Whitley Strieber's novel and directed by Woodstock maestro Michael Wadley. Manhattan detective Albert Finney is investigating the murders of homeless people and discovers a human-like wolf may be the culprit. Gregory Hines, Edward James Olmos, and Diane Venora also star in this film that turns the early 1980s Big Apple into a bigger horror show than it already was. Wherever there are werewolves, can the howling be far behind? Joe Dante's tongue-in-cheek 1981 shocker tells of a TV reporter who heads to a new AG retreat with her husband after a close encounter with a psycho in an adult movie theater. She eventually discovers that the retreat is crawling with werewolves. State-of-the-art transformation effects mixed with great sight gags and cameos from the great Dick Miller, producer Roger Corman, and Forrest J. Ackerman. We all remember Uncle Forry as the late legendary editor of Famous Monsters of Filmland. In the satiric shocker that spawned many, some say too many sequels. John Landis also takes the horror ha-ha formula approach to this subject matter in another classic werewolf wonder from the same year, An American Werewolf in London. And once again, there is incredible Oscar-winning makeup afoot, a hand and a face too, courtesy of the great Rick Baker. Americans David Naughton and Griffin Dunne don't beware of the Moors when they head to England for a vacation. And sure enough, one of them is shredded to pieces by a werewolf, while the other fears the way he's about to walk may be thorny. Filled with shocks and jokes in equal measure, the film also showcases a great score of lunar-themed tunes like Blue Moon, Moondance, and Bad Moon Rising. The grizzled great-granddaddy of all was, of course, the 1941 Universal Studios classic simply titled The Wolfman. Here, Lon Chaney Jr. plays Larry Talbot, an American in Wales, bitten by a wolf when he tries to rescue his girlfriend from an attack. Gypsies warn him that he is cursed, and when there is a full moon, he transforms into a beast, first attacking villagers and then the woman he loves. Chaney's startling transformation scenes and the actor's compassionate turn as the tortured Talbot, coupled with a supporting cast that includes Evelyn Ankers, Bela Lugosi playing a character named Bela, Ralph Bellamy, Claude Rains, and the great Maria Oispinskaya as Maliva, the gypsy, make this an ageless horror outing. What awaits Fright fans in February when Universal unleashes the big-budget remake of their own chiller classic? The Wolfman will pounce with not only the talented Del Toro in the starring role, but the likes of Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt, Hugo Weaving, and Geraldine Chaplin in the major supporting roles, as well as the masterful makeup effects of Rick Baker, a longtime devotee of the original makeup designed by Jack Pierce, Universal Studios' renowned monster maker. Just like you, I'm waiting to find out if it's a scream or a snore. Until we meet again in the dark, my good fiends, this is Gourdier. Goodbye!